Hello everybody, this is me Hello everybody, this is me, Dusty Circuit, here to bring you another Kerbal Space Program video. And we left off where we set off on this mission to attempt to land on the hardest planet to land on in the Dub system. Ovin, which we are currently orbiting right now. And, well, today we're actually going to attempt to land on it. Though I would like to make some adjustments to my orbit before we first, which I'll explain in a little bit. Okay, so the reason why I got myself into this polar orbit. So the reason why I got myself into this polar orbit is, well, I guess I'll tell you the story now. So, when this mod was actually in its infancy, I actually had joined the developers' Discord of the mod, and even before that, I found the developers' YouTube channel where they've been posting videos about this mod's development. And back then, it was only I believe the Dub system was the very first system to be added in this mod. And, but going to the time when I had joined their Discord, I actually was one of the first, I was one of the first players to not only, download and play this mod, but also, I was one of the first players to actually successfully land on the surface of Ovin and return home to Kerbin. Well, because I think as soon as Ovin had come out as part of this mod, the developer made it a challenge to whoever. So someone should try to land on Ovin. Well, because Ovin is as I said, I think in the first video, I called it the final boss of the Dub system, and that still is true to this day. And I don't know if I could confirm or deny if I am the first player to actually successfully land and return from Ovin, but at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen anybody else have a successful, I've seen others have successful landings, but not really, but I guess I haven't seen many successful returns. And This was such a big deal to the developer of this mod that he actually named a biome. They actually named biomes on this planet after the first players to successfully land on it. And which means, yes, there is a biome on Ovin that is named after me. So I figured it'd make a fun challenge if maybe I could land in if I could actually land in that biome, which I believe is called Dusty Crater. Okay, looks like we have found the crater. Okay. So I guess it's time to actually transfer a crew of one of my Kerbals into the lander. So it looks like the biome in question is quite large, so landing in it should actually be quite easy, at least hopefully. And apparently it looks like we're sort of on a collision course with the mothership, so let's pass it up first. Then let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure we're actually over the biome. I don't know how my landing gear survived that, but I guess we made it. And this has to be probably my 8th attempt at this landing or something crazy like that, because like I kept it seems like this lander is just terrible at maintaining a straight descent, because it's like when you slow down it just wants to keep like turning one direction and then another. Like as it's slowing down, that's really annoying. And yeah, so it seems like we landed in the middle of this, where it's mostly flat, which is a good thing. So I guess now I'm gonna move my, well, first I think I'll move my Kerbal into the lander, or the rover. Okay, now that I'm landed, let's make a new quick save. Okay, let's retract these things before we drive away. And yes, I have nuclear reactors on my rover, so I can actually drive it around indefinitely. Yeah, and by the way, that shaking of the camera is just the effect of this high gravity. So you'll have to... I guess the camera's just going to be shaky for a little bit. Let's, guess, fully lower our ramp. Now let's get out. Yeah, I have no idea if a normal person can even survive gravity this high. So I guess the Kerbals must be pretty tough or resilient. Okay, I guess let's get back on our rover. Kinda wanna maybe try driving around a little bit and maybe, I don't know, get to that mountain, but it seems pretty far away. Well, I guess you'll get to see a cool time lapse of me driving. Okay, so actually most of this journey I made off camera because, I mean, look how so my lander is over there and now my rover is over here. Just to give you an idea of what the distance that I've traveled. I think thus far, this is the farthest I've actually traveled by rover in Kerbal Space Program thus far. Like our lander, the lander is 66 kilometers away. Like we're over there, just over here. And the lander is somewhere, well, the lander is there. Just to give you a sense of how far we went. But I've decided I'm gonna stop here. Like I was gonna keep going till I got to the very top of this hill, but the thing about driving on this planet is because of the really high gravity here, it's very easy to break the rover wheels if you were to, like, if you drive over bumps at speed. Like all it takes is just one little bump and then like at least one of those wheels gets broken, and I think the only way that I can repair them, like you can repair rover wheels that break, but I think the only way to repair them is with repair kits, and I don't know if a scientist Kerbal can repair them. It probably has to be an engineer Kerbal. So every time I break wheels, I just had to revert my quick save. And that was getting really old really fast. So I'm gonna call it quits here. And then I guess we're gonna drive all the way back to the rover, which I am going to do off camera, as I have spent enough time. I've recorded enough footage of me just getting out here, and for the sake of keeping my video's length reasonable, I'm going to omit the return trip, because it's basically the same. What's gonna be interesting about it is that the way up here, we had to go uphill to go here, and to get back we had to go downhill, which is gonna be interesting. So maybe I'll record the downhill journey, but once we've made it to the bottom there, I think once we made it to about there, I am going to drive the rest of the way back off camera. Yeah, I think it's not gonna be possible for us to even go down the really steep slopes, because it looks like we can't even brake. So, guess we'll have to take this cautiously. Okay, I think I'll just have the brakes on and then just hold S to give us additional braking power. I think that's actually going to be the key for going down the really steeper slopes, but I feel like even this might be we might be risking it a bit too much. No, what? Maybe let's actually fall off the hill for fun once, just to see what happens. That was a little anticlimactic. Let's try it one more time. Okay, we have made it safely back to the lander. And well, it turns out that if I turn on... Not sure which of these three cheats did it, but I turned all of these three on. And that made it so I was able to drive the rover basically at full speed without the wheels braking. So... I think we ought to wait for wait for Ovin to rotate as such that we're directly under the orbit of our mothership before we take off. Okay, I'm actually not sure if we're gonna have enough fuel to get into orbit, but I guess I'm gonna try. And if we don't, then I guess we're gonna have to do a surface rescue mission, which I'm hoping we're not gonna have to do, but I guess we'll find out if we need one. Okay, I'm in a bit of a pickle here. So, it looks like I am not, with this lander, I am not able to return to orbit because where I'm actually, I think I've tested this thing before and I was able to return to orbit just fine with this lander, but I think, and when in my testing, I think I landed on one of the higher areas of this planet where I'm actually quite a bit down in a crater this time around. And the main flaw of this lander design is these radiator panels that need to cool the, provide cooling for the nuclear saltwater rocket engines. These get destroyed if you're moving really quickly through an atmosphere. Which means if I lift off, like if I were to just lift off full throttle, these things would I would accelerate too quickly, and the radiators get destroyed, and then the engines would overheat, and I would not be able to now just come falling back down the surface and crash. And with the amount of fuel that I have remaining, with the whole, like, if I would be able to maintain full throttle, I could probably get back to orbit, but because I have to, it seems like for the first, like, 10 kilometers of this ascent up until I've reached kind of the dark blue area on the atmosphere gauge, it seems like when I'm through this zone, going through this zone here, I have to go, like, slow, as in, like, at first below, like, around 70 meters per second, and then I can speed up to, then once I'm in the middle here, I can speed up to around 150 meters per second, and then once I'm here, I can speed up to 200, but then once I'm around here, that's when I can really speed up faster. So So because of that little limitation, and because of my remaining fuel levels, it seems like I'm not able to return to orbit with this lander. So unfortunately, I guess Bob Kerman is going to be stuck on the surface of Ovin until I can send a rescue ship here. And I guess I am going to have to pull off a surface rescue, unfortunately. But at least then, I guess I can fix the major flaw of this lander and actually use radiators that don't break while flying in an atmosphere. But because of the length of this video thus far, I feel like I'm going to end this here. Then the next video will be me sending the rescue mission. And then, so that we can continue on with my mission to land on Char, and then we can return home to Kerbin. And, so thank you for, so this has been me, Dusty Circuit here, to bring you some more Kerbal Space Program content. And if you like what you saw, remember to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you want to see my next videos, just hit the bell for notifications. Peace out. Bye.